Okay, so I wanted to walk through and try to show what I think I'm seeing or what I feel like I am seeing on the charts as far as trading with volume. Let me remove all of this stuff. This is me trying to run through all the charts and find head and shoulders. And I'm noticing the head and shoulders show up on the RSI and complete on the RSI before they finish, before the right shoulder even begins on the chart. So that was something that I happened to notice just going through, looking and training my eye on the different nuances on head and shoulders and stuff. And I got to do the same thing for the V pattern and stuff. But right now we're working on volume. So what I want to show here on the volume is, okay, so we have this whole move. We could tell that this is a downwards trend that we're in from here. I didn't even draw this right. Okay. Here we go. And this is just my preference of how I like to draw. I like to do the pitchfork of trend line drawing as well as the traditional trend line drawing. Why won't this let me? I'm just trying to duplicate this. Oh, there we go. So I find that this kind of works best for me. Okay, so it follows a trend, supports resistance that way in the mini trends. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit more, and we're going to start to try to follow the volume. Okay, so as this goes down, the volume is doing what it does as it goes down. So we get a nasty pull down, and then we get a push to the upside right here. Now, with this push to the upside, this volume should be lower than the volume that, had it go down, spike down like this. But it's not. It's up. So from my understanding, this is an indication by this volume being high and this pushing up. It's not saying that the sellers, it's time to, that the sellers are gone and it's time to buy. It's just saying, pay attention. Something might be happening here. And just me running my mouth talking to you, I just spotted something. I told you I've been looking at them head and shoulders, and they are popping out like crazy. So that's a head and shoulders clearly, because we break the neckline right here and look. So anyway, back to what I was saying. Now, how I come to this conclusion is that there's a turnaround part of this based on my mentor, and the other part is just looking at it right here. We have it drop down. We get a pullback. As we get the pullback here, we have lower volume here. Then as it starts to continue down, we get a spike in volume. We get another pullback here. And then the volume changes here. Each time that the pullback comes, the volume is definitely lower than the previous volume before the pullback started, just before the pullback started. So now on this particular pullback, the volume goes high. So it becomes, to me, in my mind, this is the buyers coming in. The seller stepped away for a bit. So as it starts to come back down, I'm getting the same effect, but it happened after this went up and this volume was here. So this isn't a pullback for the sell. This seems like a pullback for the buy, and turns out that's exactly what ended up happening. It became a pullback for the buy because right here we get a spike in volume, and then the price starts to go back up with another little pullback here, and we have that right there, and then the low, and then the pullback comes up. Now as the pullback comes up here, I notice not the pullback, as the buy continues here, I notice that the volume is higher than the pullback. So this means that the sellers are back in control. And that's exactly what looks like happens, because we get a push down and we get this volume. We get I don't even know what to call this right here and stuff. So I'm just not even going to touch that, but it still looks like part of a pullback. But now that, not a pullback, well, this seems part of a pullback, but what ends up happening is the candles are going up and the volumes are going up, like it just shifted back to the buy side again. And if that means it's shifted back to the buy side, as this comes down, now this is not continuing to the sell. This is like, once again, a pullback because the volume pulls back for the sell, right? I mean, for the buy, I'm sorry, verbal typos. And we can see it because as it starts to get here, the volume increases again. Also forming a head and shoulders right here in our face, right here. And so the head and shoulders breaks the neckline and it goes up. As it starts to go up, now we're still knowing that we're in the sellish territory. But if I was going to try to grab some profits and I see the head and shoulders forming, probably right in here if I was in this trade, I probably would go ahead and do the buy and stuff and look for a quick sell. But now we get up here. As we get up here, the volume is low on this pullback. So it still looks like a low for the buy, like a pullback for the buy. But then right here, the volume pops down to the downside and it continues getting bigger. As this trend goes down to the downside, it continues getting bigger. This gets lower. So this tells me this is a pullback, a really quick pullback for the sell. So we're going to test this theory. We're going to put a sell here and let's get it moving. We got 1, 2 big ones. If you take this down to a 3-minute time frame and use a larger position, you will make a lot of money. But I got the feeling this may reverse pretty soon. Okay, so we're going sideways and this volume is almost as big as the volume on the drop down. So I'm not sure if I want to continue on this. Oops, I did not mean to touch that. Let's lock it in place. Trying to be able to change. Sometimes I have the worst time with it. Oh, because I locked it. Hold on. Hold on. There we go. Now lock it. Okay. So it's trying to push down. Well, let's see. I'm going to hang on to it a little bit longer. There we go. So even though this is not a big move, I see the volume here. So with the volume being high here and this candle is so small,